Hey, everyone. What's going on, y'all?
We're back live.
We are back live. Hey. Okay, here goes the intro. Enough fooling around. Get to business, Tamara. Hey everyone, welcome to the recap of the Walking Dead universe. We are here live every week to discuss the latest episodes. You can catch our recaps at any time on Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and more. Subscribe for free in the app of your choice. For those of you joining us live tonight, thanks for taking time out of your evening to be here. I am Tamara Ford, and I love a good TV show and a good book, of course. If you'd like to reach out to me, you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at the Recap Pods. And if you're into books, you can also find me at Shelf Addiction. Joining me is show co host Lisa. Welcome, Lisa.
Hello, Tamara. Hello, everyone. My name is Lisa Orban. I am an author and I am the owner of Indies United Publishing House, and I love all things pop culture. If you'd like to find me online, you can find me pretty much everywhere at Lisa Orban Author.
Yes. And before we get going, we want to remind you, of course, we want your participation in this conversation. So if you are listening live on YouTube or Facebook, hit us up in the comments section right now. If you're listening on a replay, you can still comment on any platform or by using the SpeakPipe voicemail link in the show notes from anywhere around the world. So we do want to hear from you and possibly include your comments in upcoming shows. So if you are new here, welcome. We are laid back in our review style, aren't we, Lisa?
Very laid back. This is a conversation, not a dissertation.
Yes, no scene by scene breakdowns here. We jump around, frog in my throat, huge spoiler alert. And if you're cool with that, this is the place for you. Spoilers for any show
In the
in
Dead
the
universe.
past, yes.
That's right. We don't go forward, even though we can. We don't because, because of you guys. We don't want to spoil it for you guys if you don't have AMC Plus.
I know. And I know there are like a hardcore group of fans that, come in that do watch forward, but I know there are a lot of people that listen to on the replay that don't watch forward. So,
Exactly.
yes, got a lot of podcast listeners that don't show up here on YouTube. Can you believe it? Y'all come over to YouTube. Come to
Yeah.
YouTube. If you're listening to me, we want to see you. Come over and hop on with us sometime.
That's right. We enjoy the commentary.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, first up is our show, Fear the Walking Dead. You know, our favorite right now.
Yes. What'd you think?
I actually really enjoyed it. I am getting a blast out of seeing characters that we don't usually get to see a whole lot of FaceTime with.
Mhm.
Like, I love Sarah. I loved her in this episode. I'm like, yeah, she carried the episode.
Yeah. Well, she was the episode. You know,
Yeah.
although I am gonna say, Morgan seems to be getting around pretty well considering the desolate wasteland that they are inhabiting.
Girl, right?
I'm
He's
just
getting around real good. He must know all the back routes or something. I don't know.
well, he's got and as far as I can tell, he's walking because they don't have a car anymore. And every time he's shown up, there's been no vehicle or anything. It's just been him on foot.
Yeah.
So I I don't know. I am having kind of a hard time with the whole, "Oh, these are safe zones." Okay, whatever. Whereas he's in a place that it's deadly.
Hmm.
And for what, 75 days, 79 days, something like that, they've been pretty much stuck inside the submarine, and going out for 6 hours, up to 6 hours at a time and didn't run into anyone, but now suddenly he can find everybody? So, anyway, I'm
But
just,
it's like after they once you crack open the seal, right? You're out there in the world gallivanting around,
yeah,
they're like, well, what's the worst that can happen?
yeah. What's the worst? Well, I mean, even in the car, they were in that car for what, 3 hours?
Yeah.
Something like that altogether, and they
Yeah.
never got out of the bad area, but now he's on foot. He's
I
just
know, right?
roaming around.
And it didn't seem like it took him that long to, well, I guess it was the night before when she said, meet us
Yeah.
at, XYZ. So it could
Mhm.
have took him all night to get there.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I said, I do find it kind of. I mean, she did tell him that they were in kind of a safe zone, but they were surrounded. But there was a bad area nearby. So you know, I guess during all of their wanderings, they were always going in the wrong direction. I don't know. But anyway, back
Yeah.
to this episode.
Anyway, right.
um.
Yeah, I liked how when like honestly how the episode started and when Sarah woke up, like I couldn't tell what was going on with her breathing at first, but I'm glad they
Mhm.
explained that later.
Right.
But I loved how we didn't really know much of anything until she meets with the other people in her, in her group. Like,
Mhm.
where is she? What's happening?
Well, and
This
because the
doesn't
last
look like the CR at all.
right. Well, but, we didn't know because, you know, she was ta they took off in the helicopter. The helicopter apparently crashed, but the pilot, I guess, took off on foot or something. I'm not sure.
Something. Yeah. They left it
And
up in the air, so we kind of
yeah,
had to guess.
but we do know that she's gone.
Yes.
Um, and they're still in the dark about who she is and everything else about her.
Mhm.
And, yeah, but, when they when she first wakes up and, you could tell, I mean, she was freaking out and, kinda wandering around and, "What is going on here?"
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then everyone starts popping up, "Hi, hi, hi," you know?
You're awake. You're awake.
Yeah,
How long has it been? Like a
yeah.
while.
2
Coup
days.
couple days. That's a long time to be out.
It is. Yeah, it is. And of course, then that scene with, because it was the zombie that came in, they're like, "One got in, apparently someone left the gate open. I
Oh my
thought
gosh.
I shut the gate. Are you sure?"
Did you? Oh my
"No."
gosh.
"We'll work
His
on that,"
ass. Man, sit your butt down inside and don't go anywhere and don't touch anything or do anything,
Yeah.
man.
So he really needs to be led around by the hand by a small child, so to speak.
Yeah, really.
And,
But
but then as soon as Sarah finds out that her brother isn't there, she has this meltdown,
oh
and
my
I
god.
don't blame her.
But she's like, "You wanna keep those teeth?" I'm like, "Girl, damn,
Yeah,
aggressive? Okay. These
yeah,
are your people, like, you don't have to, like, be like that. They're not
right.
gonna chain you down."
Well, and it wasn't, and they even said that we've been out looking,
Right,
it's just we've gotten scattered and it's
right.
dangerous out there. So, I mean, Sarah's first reaction was kind of like they had sloughed off their responsibility, I guess.
I
You
know.
know. And but so if she was out from 2 days after the crash, then by the time she meets up with the bounty hunter, I can't remember his name. Emmanuel? No,
Josiah,
Josiah. Um she said something about, he's been missing for 79
60
days.
oh, I thought she said 67 days.
Maybe it was 67 days. Quite a few
Yeah.
days, a lot of days. And,
That's
plus
a
the
lot
2
of
that
days
she
moving.
yeah, so I mean, so we can see that everyone's kind of they're kind of getting everyone lined up on that, not quite 3-month mark.
Mhm.
And, or right around that 3-month mark, after everything, blew up.
Yeah.
And, so but and then she basically makes, she's so desperate to find her brother, she makes a deal with the devil, so to speak.
Oh, she
"Alright,
does.
fine. I'll
I
call
know.
Morgan." But I think in the back of her head, though, she was thinking, "Well, Morgan killed his brother, so,"
Well, and she tells him that. She says, "This is your death. You think you could kill him and your brother couldn't? Okay.
Mhm,
You try it if you want to."
mhm,
So I mean, she was making a deal, but she wasn't trying to be slick about it. I think she was real upfront about, well, fine, I'll call him here, but I'm just not going to let you kill him or he's not just going to let you kill him either. So,
right,
yeah. Which in the
so
end ended up being kind of real different because we'll get to that. But this character
yeah.
made an about face that I don't know if I
Yeah,
I don't know if I believe it, but okay.
yeah, I'm kinda there with you, but I will say, when so they sent the dog out, to go find her brother,
Yeah.
and comes across that trolley of the dead,
Yeah.
and I gotta tell you, I am wondering because he even says, I'm just supposed to, drop them off and, and scatter them around. So these are all radiated zombies,
Mhm.
and he's gathering them up and dispersing them,
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
and they had this whole paddock, when he takes them back to his place, there's this whole paddock of, dozens, hunt or, at least what, 20, 50 of them,
Yeah, that's a good amount.
in each of these little horse paddocks. So he's taking his orders from somebody,
I know.
but the question is, what's the point? Part of me in the back of my head, I'm almost beginning to wonder if it's, Strand.
Really?
And I know
You
that
don't think it's
sounds
that other group that
it
was, you know.
it might be, but I gotta tell you, Strand is just I can see him doing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what the end game would be, but I could almost see Strand doing it. I don't know that it's him, but I wouldn't have an issue if it was.
I think that if he did do it, it's a waste of resources. Like, especially not knowing what the end game is. You just have these people, I mean, just out here risking their lives to let, walkers just walk, that seems so silly. Like, why aren't they just letting them walk on their own? Like, why are they having to disperse them anyway? They just walk on their own.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't know. I mean, and they're wearing the radiation suits and everything else. And so they're completely aware of what the danger is, but yeah, they're taking, the kid's taking his orders from somebody.
I think it's
And
that
we can
other group. What were they
yeah.
called? What were they calling them? I can't even think right now. Uh, I don't know. The other group
Yeah.
that were going around with the mask on, hijacking people for their
Well,
stuff, and
and we saw him in that first episode,
yeah,
going after the walkers and stuff. So, yeah, I mean, and you're right. I mean, it probably isn't Strand because he wanted to know who that group was, and he was not sure who they were. Um,
oh, I
but,
didn't catch that name. So one of the comments, Karina says they mentioned Arno, whoever that is. I don't
yeah.
remember that name.
At the very end, when he's on the radio, he's like, "Hey, I've got this thing, that we need a show. It's a game changer." Oh, you idiot. It's not a game changer, it's a death machine. You know,
Right. Right.
I mean, and I gotta tell you, he's got those layers of clothes on, in a rain suit, but it's not gonna save you from heavy radiation. It's just not.
No, it's not. It's not
And,
at all.
so again, I got these. Have you ever read The Stand?
I've watched it. I haven't read it.
Okay. It's better to read, but the trash can man, the one who goes out and finds things in the desert and brings them back,
Mhm.
brings back the nuclear bomb, said,
Mhm.
it's my life for you, my life for you. I
Oh
got that
yeah.
distinct feeling from this kid as he's carrying this bomb back to this group. I've got a game changer.
Oh
No,
my
you don't have a
god.
game changer. You have death.
Yeah, death and destruction leaking out the whole way as you drag it.
Mhm. So I mean, now on the bright side, as long as he's moving away from, the rest of Sarah's group, that's a good thing, because he's taking the danger with him. But
Mhm.
I I don't know. I don't know what anyone's end game would be with a nuclear warhead that's leaking.
Yeah.
That's
It seems
just
stupid to take it.
like so that's why I got that distinct trash can man, you know, blind devotion, stupidity thing going on.
Yeah. I can see
So
that. I get the connection for sure.
Hey,
Um
on the comments section, apparently a lot of people love that book, and so they're with are you guys with me on this? Did you get that feeling too? You know? Because that's how I mean, that's the first time that went through my head, watch this going, "Oh, this isn't gonna end well." You know?
yeah. I mean, nothing ends well with, that kind of situation. It's all bad. Nothing good can come of it.
Yeah, nothing good can
Unless
come
he
of it.
takes it to their place and he kills all of them by accident.
Mhm. You know, and,
So,
but, alright, yeah, Karina's with us. She says totally she got that vibe too. But anyway, but yeah, so we should probably talk a little bit about the twin brother and his obsession, and
I know. He was really like on this revenge thing, right? He was
yeah.
really on that hard. And all it took to change his heart was for his dog to accidentally get bit by his brother's head.
Well, I mean,
I
there was more lead up to that. I mean, the 2 of them stuck in the car, and him talking about, that he had been a park ranger, that he was search and rescue was what he had done. And,
Yeah, I just felt they gave us that because he's gonna be around for a while, and they want us to trust him. You know what I mean?
mhm,
Like, he's not gonna be a disposable character. We'll see him again, and I think that was the purpose of them doing that, not necessarily, I don't know, showing his change of heart, in my opinion.
yeah.
I just know he's gonna be around, and I actually thought he would be a great addition to Morgan. He
Oh,
would.
yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah, I mean, he's absolutely gonna be a great addition, I mean,
yeah,
he's got a particular set of skills, and
that he does.
but I gotta tell you though, I mean, just that the whole him carrying around the head and, "I'm not gonna kill you, my brother is," pulls the head out and gets knocked around, and man, I was really upset about Rufus. I gotta
I
tell you,
know.
really upset about Rufus. I like
I
that
think
dog.
so. Yeah, to address your first comment about him being like pulling the head out and stuff, I do think that they tried to make Josiah's character seem really badass and scary in
Mhm.
the first couple episodes. Like, seriously, who is this? Who is this mf'er?
Yeah.
Why is he so vengeful? And now he's like a marshmallow.
Yeah. Well, I
I'm
mean,
like, I'm kind of torn on that flip, honestly. Although I'm not mad at it exactly. I'm just kind of like, oh, that's what they wanted to do. Okay. Um, I don't know. I guess they just didn't want to.
I mean, in some ways, I guess I see it, that he was vengeful, not, unlike his brother who was a legit bounty hunter. Um, he was only, his he was going after Morgan because Morgan killed his brother. And he may not have known the circumstances of why Morgan killed his brother.
But he knew he was a bounty hunter. And then he
Yeah.
apologized to Morgan. He's like, dude, I'm sorry, my brother. He wasn't always like that. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Now you're apologizing
Yeah.
for him? I don't know. It just seemed two extremes to
Yeah,
me
it
really
it did
fast.
seem a little forced.
Yeah.
Um, but, I mean, the point that he brings his brother's head out, you could kinda see, it was kind of that point, he's just like, I'm not a killer. I'm gonna have my
Yeah.
brother do it."
Yeah.
I'm gonna facilitate it, but I'm not gonna cause it, you know?
Mhm.
But,
Mhm.
so I guess there's that slight distinction between him and his brother,
Yes.
slight. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I did find the flip a little unbelievable. I I
Yeah.
guess if there had been more screen time, if they had developed this character a little bit more where there was more of a, maybe an episode lag between, this introduction from this episode, and then he met Morgan not in this episode, but maybe the next one where him
Mhm.
and Sarah had maybe bonded a little bit more or
Yeah.
something, something that would really y- make it more believable.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you can kind of see that some things are kind of they're letting kind of stretch out a little bit, but some things are just kind of shoving in together going, "Okay, this is the shortcut." And so, just take it.
Right. That's what I'm doing. No, I'm trying not to be too critical.
Yeah. I mean, and the 2 of them, I mean, had been kinda bonding over this whole him and Sarah had been kinda bonding over, missing brothers, lost brothers, that missing pieces of themselves, and when Sarah had and I think that first moment of real connection, that was when Sarah had the panic attack in the car. She told him the story, that he wasn't really her brother, but when he was close, when she was a newborn, she could breathe and yada yada yada, and then during the panic attack, I don't know, there was bringing out that you don't you don't become a park ranger for the money, you know? You do it because you
Right.
have a certain commitment, and
Yeah.
him talking about his dedication, that, about being able to find people and, all that stuff, so, I mean, there was that a little bit of bonding, but I really think that the fast flip over between, "I'm going to kill you, Morgan," and, I'm really sorry that my brother, tried to kill
I
you."
know. I'm so
Yeah.
sorry. Can I roll with y'all? Yeah, let's finish this thing. I'll come back later, guys, after I've been out here for a while.
Yeah.
Bye. Good
But
luck. I mean, it was just like, okay,
yeah.
the whole
It
thing.
that whole I like I said, I think it would have been, if they had stretched it out over another episode where there had been more time, for maybe the bond between him and Sarah to really cement, um, or
And since
and
when
Morgan didn't come
does
into play
Morgan,
until later.
right? And since when does Morgan just trust people off GP? Like, you were trying to kill me the other day, but it's all good now. We're good. I'm not even going to look at you sideways. It's fine. When do we start doing that?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe Morgan's just, I don't, maybe the radiation's out of his brain.
I know. But with all of that, I was sad that the dog had to die, though, for
Yeah.
that trigger to happen, or that final trigger, I'll say that, for it to push him over.
But
Um,
I gotta tell you, man, that poor dog, I mean, he's been through hell,
yeah,
and he still managed to survive, and, he gets eaten by the head of his master. I mean, come on,
I
you know
know. Talk about irony, man. That's just the worst.
you know,
Like, that's what you
man, it was
get there. Oh, but at least they didn't like. I don't know. I
I
guess he
wonder,
tried to make him feel better with some beans before he had to kill him.
yeah. I wonder if they
I guess.
buried the dog with the head.
Oh God,
I mean,
probably, but separated.
I mean, because like I said, I mean, Rufus actually did belong to his brother,
Yeah,
was his brother's dog.
maybe they're next to each other.
I don't
I don't
know.
know, girl. Don't give me the question. I don't know because we didn't see what happened to the head, so I don't know.
Yeah.
But one thing I did like about you mentioned earlier, Sarah telling that story about Wendell. I did like that story. I feel like that was the story I always needed
Yeah.
because
To
with the
explain
2
their
of
close
them,
bond.
right, I couldn't quite figure it out.
Mhm.
And that story kinda was the last little thing that I needed to kinda make that make sense for me.
Yeah. And then, of course, it made sense, that every morning she was waking up and she was you know,
Mhm.
it all goes back to that. And,
Yes.
so and then, of course and then more, she's like and when she saw that the wheelchair, I mean, she lost it,
Yeah.
you know, and tried to abandon, um, I don't remember his name.
Oh, Josiah.
Thank you.
You're
I mean, she
welcome.
tried to abandon Josiah and, swinging that truck around and, basically driving like a lunatic, which is, of course, what got him in, stuck in that situation next to the leaking bomb. But, I mean, she really had that, the idea of there being a world without Wendell,
Yeah,
is just, you know um, too much for her to really take in. And then
right.
when Morgan shows up and he's like, "Listen, there's a possibility."
Yeah.
Could be with Strand because Strand is collecting our people, the ones that he wants. And he's already got, you know, um what's her name? Grace and or not Grace.
Yeah. Oh, June
Yeah.
and John Senior.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and they try to get Grace
They
and
tried.
they tried. So they traipse over to where Strand's at, and that stupid sign above, above the phone. It's very Strand-like.
Sarah's like, "Oh, he's definitely," basically she's saying he's still drinking his own Kool-Aid, basically.
Oh, yeah.
He's not changed at all.
No. No, no, no. As a matter I mean, he's actually I mean, he is getting crueler.
Mhm.
He is. Um, because he knows how close Sarah and Wendell are, okay? He is aware of their bond between each other. He not the backstory, but he's aware of how close these 2 are.
Right.
And the fact that because you didn't stand with me, you know, I'm not gonna let you in. But I'll send him out, but I won't let him back in.
Right.
He'll die out here. So if you want him, you want to give him a death sentence, fine. I mean, that was cruel. I mean, that was really cruel.
And to top it off, honestly, I could see Strand being that D-bag that says, "Okay, here's your brother," and he tosses him out without a wheelchair. There you
I
go.
can see him tossing him off the top of the building. Come on. You know,
Yeah.
one-way ticket. Um, you know, eh, and even still in the back of my head, I'm going, I wonder if Wendell's even actually there. I wonder if Strange just being
He's just
mean.
lying.
Yeah,
Yeah, I wondered that for a minute if he was actually telling the truth, but I mean, because just because we didn't see him doesn't mean he's not there. So,
yeah. I mean, we haven't really. I mean, except we've had the grand tour at least once. I mean, and that's not to say he hasn't picked Wendell up. Um, after um uh what's his name from the first episode, he gave him a little walkthrough. And we
mhm,
didn't really see everyone, but
right.
and I can see him taking in Wendell, partially because I think in the back of his head thinking, "Oh, if his sister shows up, I'll just keep
Oh,
them
yeah.
separate,
He's totally
just to be
being,
mean."
yeah, exactly. Just to like dig it in a little bit harder into everyone that he doesn't like or everyone who doesn't like him. So
Mhm.
sure, I'll help him because this is gonna pay. It's gonna pay forward when I need
Yeah.
it.
Well, and I don't he's seems to be splitting, groups up as much as he can. Okay, he'll take in Wendell, but he won't take in Grace. You know, he wants or not Grace, but Sarah. And he came for Negan and wanted Grace, you know, but was or not Negan, I'm sorry. Came for
Morgan,
Morgan.
mm.
Sorry, I was reading the comments about Negan.
Focus, Lisa.
Ah, I'm sorry, I hate daylight savings time and it's dark and my sleeping schedule's all screwed up. I can't see. Anyway, but yeah, I mean, so I mean he came to the submarine, I mean, just for the soul, because he knew that he
Yeah,
wasn't gonna let um Morgan come in. And he knows how Morgan feels about Grace, and looking at Grace going, "Hey, you want a safe place with we have food, we have this, we have everything you need. It's like a paradise." So I mean, I mean, he really is doing his best to break up any strong bonding because he's only taking half of any pair. Have you noticed that?
I did notice it. Well, he did take June and John Dory Senior together for some reason. I guess maybe.
Yeah, but
Uh,
they're not close. Okay, but I'm pretty sure if it was John Dory Jr. and her, he would have made
oh,
her
they are
choose between.
definitely close after all that time they spent together.
Yeah, but again, that's not something Strand was probably as aware of.
Uh, probably.
You know,
I don't
Dory
know.
Senior is kind of a wild card for him, okay, because he's had very, very little interaction with them. But
Mhm.
if it had been Dory Jr., I am pretty sure he would have taken her and left John.
Oh gosh.
Oh,
And the
you
only
can
way he
see
would
it.
have done that is if they were both unconscious, because
Yeah,
that would have never happened if they were awake.
yeah. I'm just saying, I don't think he would take both of them. He seems
Hmm.
to be he seems to be enjoying his cruelty.
Well, like Morgan said, he's trying to prove some kind of stupid point. Like,
Yeah.
he's on some other stuff right now,
Well,
basically.
and you can see, I mean, you know, Strand is just doing everything he can to poke and prod and needle at Morgan. And Morgan is just going, dude, seriously, I don't know what your problem is, but it doesn't have to be this. And Strand's like, oh my God, it does. You know?
Like, this is the end of the fucking world, man. Like, I don't care as long as you're helping people. And he's like, Strand is not going for it. He has his own agenda.
Hmm.
I don't know.
And I mean, and he has obviously some kind of end game. I'm not sure exactly what his end game is, but it's, you know, I mean, aside from I'm going to set myself up as, you know, the God King on Earth.
Right.
So
And, his plans, yes, he's gotten through a lot of tough situations in this show. And yes, he has talked his way out of a lot of things and into a lot of things. But this obviously, whatever this fiasco is, it's not going to work long term. It's not.
yeah. Well, and his little buddy sidekick, I gotta tell you, he seems to be. When we were first introduced to that character, you know, he's kind of a little timid guy, sitting in his little penthouse apartment there. Um, and I really thought, you know, once he realized who Strand really was, that he would try to get away, you know, or I didn't I guess I expected any reaction but the one that we are seeing right now, which is, "Hi, I'm going to be your lap dog, and I'm going to lick your boots," and, you know,
He's
and he
doing it
seems
happily.
and he's doing it happily. He seems to
Yes.
be weirdly enjoying it, and I didn't see him as that kind of a character when he was first introduced, you know, when Strand was telling him the story saying that he was Morgan,
Well, maybe
you
it's
know?
like, for lack of a better term, like a revenge of the nerds kind of thing. Like, maybe I was weak in that previous life, but now I have a chance at power and I'm going to take it,
Yeah. You know,
kind of
it's like he's
thing.
finally realized, you know, he's embraced the idea of might makes right, you know?
Or he just
So
thinks it's the best way. And who knows what stuff Strand has said about Morgan. And he's obviously drank the Kool Aid, lots of it.
mhm.
So who knows? Maybe he might do an about face after he has a couple conversations, or maybe he'll just die. That's totally possible.
Several people are waiting for him to get eaten by zombies or thrown off the roof.
Yeah, I saw that.
You know, and I can I don't have I don't see Strand having an issue with him throwing Howard right off that roof. I really
No,
don't.
he'll throw anybody. He don't care.
Yeah.
He don't care. He should honestly, Howard should sleep with one eye open, because you really can't trust Strand at all.
Well, and he's kind of in a way, you know, he's kind of like the replacement um for Alicia.
Mm.
But
Except for he's kissing his butt, because Alicia was
exactly.
like never doing that.
Right. But I mean, you could see, I mean, this is what Strand's always kind of wanted from Alicia though, is to be this malleable,
Yeah,
you
I
know,
can see that.
subordinate,
Yeah.
you know, and he's not, you know, and he never really got that he never got that from her. And, you know, but now he's found this, you know, in Howard this thing that he can do whatever he wants. You know, he can impart his wisdom onto, and he sucks it up like a sponge kinda thing. The
Yeah.
Apprentice.
Oh god. Excuse me. But now Strand has one more thing that he can use against Morgan and crew if he wants. He told Sarah, fine, I won't tell him you were here. But he could just hold it for a time or he wants to, make something happen or pull a specific trigger. And he'll tell, oh, yeah, Sarah was here, but she didn't want you to come with them. He
Yeah,
has something now.
yeah. Except I think Wendell I mean, I'm sure Wendell would understand, you know?
I
Um,
don't know. The longer he's with Strand, the more he's listening to him. You never know.
yeah, I know. Well, and I'm kinda curious as to like I said, June didn't seem all that unhappy being stuck in the tower with Strand, and John Dory was like, "Oh, no. Oh, hell no. We gotta get out of here. Oh god, no. We can't stay here." And she's like, "Oh, it won't be that bad."
I know, but we already kind of said she doesn't have traditional loyalties, I don't
No,
think.
no, she doesn't, but and again, I mean, and she didn't mention it that again, she didn't mention anybody else from the group being there.
Mhm.
Um, but then again, that's not really John Dory wasn't really familiar with that group as a whole outside of like, Morgan and a few select others, you know.
Right. Mhm.
So, if Linda was there, he probably didn't really have any connection to him. So I could see him not saying anything. But, uh, but yeah, I'm kinda curious. I would kinda I'm hoping we get more of a peek inside of Strand's, uh,
Tower.
little
His
house,
tower. They called it
his
the tower.
tower. I
Yeah.
mean, and not from like, "I'm going to give you a walkthrough," but, actually see how people what's actually going on inside there a little bit more.
Mhm.
But I don't think that's gonna happen, at least not for another couple episodes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was a good episode overall. I
Mhm.
am curious to see what's next. I'm dialed into this season still. What about you?
I am. I am kinda curious why Morgan keeps going back to the submarine now that he knows that there are safe places.
Well, we don't necessarily know that that's what's going to happen now that Sarah can tell him about this castle, right?
Right.
Or he could go there, take the food and go there.
Mhm.
I
And I
don't
can s
know.
I mean, they did find all that food. I mean, I guess it is as long as they're not really needing to go out very much, it's not all that terrible, but, and if it's just the 3 of them, they've got food for a long time. Um
Yeah. But I can't see Morgan now that he's found Sarah and he knows that Sarah knows where Al and everybody else is.
Mhm.
I can't see him going back there and just leaving them be where they
Yeah.
are.
Well, and you could I mean, and you could even tell though that Morgan was pretty reluctant to say exactly what the situation was at the sub.
Mhm.
Because at this point, I mean, Strand still thinks he's absolutely desperate without food or, any supplies. And I know Morgan doesn't want him to know that, oh yeah, we got food.
But
Um,
also think about this. The sub is kind of compromised because Strand knows he's there.
mhm.
But Strand doesn't know where that other hideout is. Not yet.
Yeah.
He
So
doesn't know
I
about it.
definitely I
So,
mean, just for the sake of more, of the baby and everything, getting out of that submarine is has got to be the goal. And
right.
so this is a safe place. It's used to be an old fort, so it's fairly well, it could be more easily defended. And
Mhm.
it's, not leaking radiation everywhere you go.
Exactly. That's a bonus.
It's a bonus.
Yeah,
And there's a whole
absolutely.
because I mean it makes way more sense for, for Morgan Grace and the baby, to leave the submarine.
Mhm.
And, they can even, go back in shifts and bring back the food.
Oh,
Since
yeah.
obviously it's within walking distance, they could get a cart and, bundle it up in the radiation suits they have there on the submarine and bring it all back.
Yeah, it must be. Otherwise, if it's not within walking distance, then it really doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, because it's like I said, we know Morgan doesn't have a car anymore because the car got totaled,
Right.
and it's out of and he even said this was the last of the gas. They don't have he doesn't have a horse, and there's no
Right.
way they could bring the horse inside the ship, inside the submarine.
Right.
Um, and it wouldn't survive if it was left outside. So he's gotta be walking. It's gotta be within walking distance.
Mhm.
So, that means that him, Grace, and the baby can all leave and within walking distance and make it.
Yeah, but then you
So,
gotta wonder if they're out of the blast zone and the, I guess, submarine was, like, really in the blast zone, then what is walking distance? What
I
is
don't
it? Like,
know.
20
Oh god, don't even get
miles?
me started. Don't
Uh,
even get me started because none of this makes
sorry,
any sense. Okay, if you
sorry.
really want me to get into this whole
No,
radiation thing,
I
I'm
don't. I forget I said anything.
just
Forget it.
don't make me have this conversation because I will have it. I will have
Oh,
it.
I know you will. Let me just pull that back. Let's rewind 20 seconds.
Don't make me use my Google brain for this.
I know, right, girl? I know. I don't know what the hell's going on, but anyway.
So
Uh,
anyway, you ready to flip over to the other show?
yeah, let's flip over to Worlds Beyond. Dun,
Beyond.
dun, dun.
You
Oh,
know, I'm
God.
gonna say I think I've enjoyed this particular episode more than I have enjoyed any of the others up so far.
There was a lot going on in this episode. So maybe that's why. Do you think that's why? Because it seemed like there was more action, more movement, more
Maybe,
characters.
I mean, because I think I mean, one Jadis is always entertaining, and she also gave us our first clue as to how long it's been since Rick has been gone as far as she's concerned, or since she took Rick, so we got a little time frame there going, little, okay, so this is where we're at.
Yeah.
Uh, um, that was nice, and,
Yeah, a little something, something.
a little something, something. So they're still a little behind The Walking Dead, but not terribly.
Hmm.
And, you know, mm, but sorry, I was looking at the comments, guys.
I
Sorry.
know you are. So, you guys, Lisa cannot remember this is a podcast. She is reading comments and won't share them. So, I will share. I'm sure she's checking out Karina's comment that says the episode was definitely better. Jadis amped up the action.
Yes.
Uh, Erica says World Beyond still needs a lot less of those sisters.
Okay, I gotta tell you, Iris is getting bloodthirsty, man. Bloodthirsty. And Hope, on the other hand, is kind of going the way of her dad. I mean, I'm not saying everything's great here. I'm just saying that, we can't just destroy things.
But honestly, I actually agree with Hope. Like, look, girl, you don't set the place on fire. This is resources. I agree with Hope, but for a
Yeah.
different reason.
Yeah, I mean, and I do too, because here's the
Mhm.
thing. It's we can't there's not a lot of people left. And they saw what happened when the walls came down, with Omaha and the university. Now, granted, they apparently were already gassed, but that's not the point. The point is, we can't just keep destroying every place that's been built up to be safe. We can't just destroy it. All right, not at
Right.
the CR, not in the Commonwealth. But there's got to be, there's we can't be killing off everybody else, and all the other settlements, for security or whatever.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty counterproductive. Um, but I mean, because the part of the research that they are working on is how to neutralize the dead, and that is important. If humans are ever going to reclaim this world, the dead have got to be taken care of.
Yeah, I do
One
agree
way
with
or
that.
another.
But I don't I don't necessarily agree with the means, and
Well,
that is kind of what Iris's point is, like, do the
and
ends
I'm not
justify the
saying
means?
the wholesale slaughter. I'm saying
Yeah.
more along, like the bacteria fungal thing that they were talking about, using Hope's idea, to accelerate the decomposition and stuff. That you don't have to kill, living humans for that. You can go and just find the already dead, of which there is an abundance of, you know, sprinkle them with this stuff and just see how long it takes,
So
No,
essentially, it are we saying it sounds like the military component of this is the problem?
yeah. I don't really think it's because they've been kind of making a big deal the last 2 episodes about the fact that the military was supposed to be in charge for 10 years, and then
Mhm.
they were supposed to be switch over to civilian government. I'm kinda wondering if part of what they're doing is, like, by blowing up, figuratively speaking,
Mhm.
Omaha and the university, it gives them a good claim to say, "Oh, no, no, things are still very dangerous. We can't, rely on civilian governments." They had civilian governments, and look what happened to them.
Right.
So,
Hmm.
I really don't think, the science side, most of the science side, the non-military science side, and the community itself, none of that needs to be burned to the ground, but the military does need to be checked.
Yeah. I think the military needs an overhaul. Maybe if you take out the people at the top, the rest, can filter down with a change, but it might be hard to do that. I don't know if you just need to somehow kill off most of the military. I hate to say it, but
Well,
um
I mean, I don't really think it's because you gotta remember, the rank and file, most of in any military organization, it doesn't matter if it's here in the US, it doesn't matter if it's in a third world country, it doesn't matter where it is. Um, the rank and file are generally there for very basic reasons. I need money and I like to eat. And the military generally offers more generous benefits than they could get on the civilian side. Whatever those
yeah.
benefits may be, because they vary from country to country. Um, but again, I think so the rank and file military, honestly, they're not interested in world domination. They want a hot meal, was it 3 hots and a cot, you know? And
Yeah, but that
so
stuff is totally top down. So you do
right,
need to remove,
the top
Huck's
ranking ones.
mother. I mean,
Mhm.
even Jadis, because she is 100% in that, right? She's not on a cot with 3 meals. She's
No, no,
higher than
no.
that.
No,
Um,
no.
you have to really take out the regime as a whole are
Right.
trying to enforce whatever they're trying to do.
It's the brass,
Mhm.
the decision makers, essentially. And then their lieutenants that carry it out.
Right.
And I would say probably, even in a lot of these cases that the rank and file military probably has absolutely no idea exactly what's going on.
Oh no,
Um,
they get limited information.
I mean,
Y
because I
Just
mean,
like
look
her
at Huck.
daughter. Yeah, she didn't know anything. Not
Yeah.
really.
So my guess is it's the like I said, it's the top brass and their lieutenants. The lieutenants know what's going on. And they're probably the ones out there dumping the gas or whatever it is they're using to annihilate these people. Um, and then they're sending in the military to do, the rank and file guys to do the cleanup. And they probably have, what I would consider like an SS shock troops, the dedicated, not the three hots and a cop, but the dedicated. Um,
Yeah.
and so they probably have, a unit of the dedicated, and they need to go. But I would probably say all in all, probably 60 to 70% of the active military, all the lower people, um, if they actually were to find out what is really going on, would probably revolt.
I don't know. We don't even know how many of them there are. There's military flying around in helicopters, killing, doing other things, other
Mhm.
missions. So It's a lot going on there. It's a lot of threads of
Mhm.
people doing things.
Yeah. I did enjoy Jadis's story, though. You know, when it first happened, I started, I started my own little community, you know, gave them their
Yeah.
own language, and and that actually proud I'm like, "Oh god, that's right, I remember how weird they talked." You know?
So, was it just me? You guys in the comments, let me know. When Jada started telling her story, I was like, "Oh, cool." I've missed her voice a little bit, but then
Mhm.
when Jennifer slash Huck started talking, I'm like, "Oh my god, her voice is awful. What is her voice? What is that? Like, why does she sound like that?" I don't know. It was just this like huge, opposite, like kind of like wheezy and soft. I'm like, what is she? I'm like, does she always sound that way, or does she just
Yeah. Yeah, she does.
glaringly opposite of Jada's?
Well, Jadis has always had this mesmerizing voice, and,
Mhm.
she and even I gotta tell you, remembering back to when she had her, her trash can people, um, I did kind of the language was weird, but it was kind of fun to watch or to
Mhm.
listen to because you could understand it. It wasn't undecipherable, but it was definitely stilted and different.
Yeah.
Um, and when she started talking like a normal person again, I
Mhm.
remember I remember going, "God, I don't really like this. Go back to talking weird."
Yeah. Yeah.
I liked that I liked that that effect on her, you know? It suited her. And you could tell that, and she's like, "Yeah, I came in, I gave them what they wanted," which apparently the way she's talking, I'm pretty sure they're talking about Rick at that point. Um, but they've got, you know, you could see that she's like the more time she's been there, the more she's gotten invested in it. And that doesn't surprise me because Jadis is the kind of person that I mean, even think about the way that she set up her own society. It was very stratified, you know.
Mhm.
They
Mhm.
did not want outsiders. It was, turned very inward. Um, and so I can see that the CR, it speaks to her.
Yeah. Oh, and
So
may I just say, I am not about Jadis's haircut. That is whack. I'm sorry.
well, she's always kind of had weird hair. So
It's whack. Wackety whack. But I did not notice. Did you notice that Jadis was using Gabriel's last name? I didn't notice it.
I didn't until I saw it in the comments.
Huh. Interesting, isn't it? As
Yeah.
she is going off on this like lecture to, Jennifer about, you know, her, who she is and who she was and if she's changed and
Yeah. Jadis
all this
didn't used to be
stuff.
my name.
Yeah. Yeah, but now she's like she is Jadis now, right?
Oh, yeah. I
She,
mean, she is I mean,
but she
she
didn't go back to Anne.
no.
So, but yet she expects Jennifer to be Jennifer and not Huck.
Well, I think that was the test.
Yeah.
Because the thing of it is Huck was, she was the sympathizer. Huck was, the university person. She was, the um and Jennifer is the military person. Jennifer is the CR person, so I think it was important for Jadis to hear her say, "I'm not Huck."
Mhm.
Because names are important, as far as Jadis takes a lot of um and puts a lot of importance on names. Names
Yeah.
are names of people, names of things, and the names that you give yourself, are very important. And so the fact that Huck very forcefully said, "I'm not Huck anymore," um, made Jadis believe her. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think she did believe her for now. Kind
For
of
now.
like, just how, Jennifer Huck, told, what's his face? He's like, "Yeah, I'm with you guys as long as I can be," right?
Yeah.
So, there's gonna be a time where she's outed. She's gonna catch her doing
Well, and we did
something.
find out we did find out at least what got her in trouble, you know, what got
Mhm.
put her on the path to even go to the university, what sent her, to, such extremes to get back into the good graces of the CR.
She's
And
right back doing the same stuff that got her busted the last time.
I know.
She's like, "Let
It's
me go back and delete those records."
yeah. So is it, at least she's learned her lesson. It probably was not the
Yeah,
lesson they were hoping for. It was
right,
make sure you delete the records. Okay,
right,
it's not don't ever do that again.
right.
And as a person who has on occasion done a bad thing and then gone bad and done that bad thing again, that was usually the lesson I learned. It's not to do it, it's how to do it better. Do it so you don't
Yeah,
get caught, erase the records.
yeah.
And
And
so
honestly, I'm not mad at her for doing it. I'm actually glad she decided to kinda help them instead of being, because she was already like going back and forth with herself anyway, you could tell.
yeah. Well, in any undercover, any cop, any person that goes undercover, they tell you it's really hard to come back out of that and go back to your life because you
Mm,
have changed, you know.
yeah.
And but they've got she was but for her it was the whole point was I have to complete this mission so I can go home. But now that she's home, it's like it's like an ill-fitting coat. It's like the coat she always wanted. She oh, it's my favorite coat. And and then you realize you've outgrown it, you
Yeah.
know. And so she has tried very forcefully to push herself back into, the person she was prior to going off on this undercover mission. And she's finding it very uncomfortable, and she's noticing things that, um, you
She
know
might have brushed off before.
yeah. I think she's looking at the CR in a different way than she did before.
Mhm.
Um, she's there's more questions where I don't I think prior to her being, um, ostracized and everything, she very much accepted the of how things were, period. There was no questioning things. But now that she's come back, you can tell that she's not comfortable there. She's not
I think
uncomfortable with even, "Yeah, I've still got a husband. I don't know how I feel about him."
like, I don't know about him. But
Yeah.
I think that last straw, that kind of broke the camel's back as far as Jennifer is concerned, is like finding out that all those people were killed. And it's like, why? For what?
Right.
Why?
Well,
That
because
was the
these are people
that
that
kind of
she would
go
have
ahead.
known. She would
Yeah.
have spent years, talking to, hanging out with. I mean, it was one thing to lure this kid out, and put her through the test, so to speak, to see if she was worthy, which I think is dumb considering they have a student exchange program. So this whole I still don't understand that part of it. Um, but again, she had been very much a part of this community. So these are people on this list that she probably knew. She
Yeah.
may have had breakfast with, coffee with, had drinks with after work.
And it's a
Um,
community that thought that they were in cooperation with the CR. She
mhm.
wasn't hanging out with a bunch of rebels, you know what I mean?
Right.
This group thought that they had an alliance with them.
Right.
So, why, even if she didn't have friends there, I think she would wonder, why did that happen? These people weren't doing anything.
Yeah. So, I think, I think eventually she will turn fully over to I don't know. Because at this point there are sides. It's Iris's or Hope's side, you know?
I mean, these children, shut up and sit down. Both of you. I
Yeah.
feel like they are. I don't like either one of them right now, to be honest. I don't know what it is about them. I just want an adult to take charge.
Mm. But, in the show, they're not going to.
I
It's
know.
gonna come down. And I kind of way in the way back, when they were building up this show, they even, they said by the end of it, alliances will change and, you know, blah, 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 blah. Um, and at first I thought it was gonna be, um, Corduroy Boy,
Oh, Elton.
Elton, was gonna
Mhm.
become the bad guy, once he found out that Hope is the one that killed his mother.
Mhm.
Granted, she was a child, didn't know what she was doing. But I
Right.
really thought that it was gonna be him when we found that out. But now I'm beginning to think that at this point that Iris is going to embrace the dark side and tell everyone that they have cookies. And
Ye Oh my god. Well, I don't know how they're gonna do that in 4 episodes and make it make sense. I don't know. And speaking of Elton, she's off, or he is off with, the daughter, and
Yes.
they're killing, walkers and praying over them.
Yeah, apparently that's her form of prayer,
Yes.
which
I'm
I
like,
just
"What?"
thought was weird.
Yes. I'm like,
Very
"Girl,
weird.
what is happening? What are you doing?" Like, okay. It is weird.
It's very
Very
weird.
weird. Um, so I don't know. Oh yeah, and even Will and the son of the leader there, they were
Uh-huh.
out and about and he got shot in the head.
Oh, yeah. That's
Like,
gonna
damn.
be yeah,
Yeah. I was like, "Ow, that's going to be bad."
yeah. It's gonna be very bad.
And I think maybe if she was kind of wavering on what she wanted to do about the CR, if she should help them or not help them, I think finding out that they shot her son, she'll say, screw the medication, screw the dialysis. I'm going to get revenge.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, Iris's idea of burning the place to the ground is childish. It is very,
It
very
is
childish.
childish. It's
You
not
know,
thought out at all.
no. And because again, this place has medicine and resources and could help other communities become established. If they didn't have this, the whole killing thing going on with the military. So I think there's going to be probably a before the end of this before the show ends, there's going to be some kind of a standoff between um the uh the military and the civilian government.
Mhm.
And I think they're going to leave us hanging because we're going to find out more about the CR probably on The Walking Dead or
Maybe.
Fear the Walking Dead, one of the two.
Oh
Probably
my
Fear.
gosh.
Well, because we've already got that tentative connection there on on
Yeah,
on
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 Fear.
Fear.
Yeah, and on The
And
Walking Dead too, so
so I
no.
mean and we know that it's been 7 years since Jadis took Rick.
I'm sorry, you said how many years?
7, right? Or
7.
was it?
Mhm.
Okay. It's been 7 years since Jadis took Rick. Technically, it's been 10 years on The Walking Dead since he was gone,
Yeah, I think so.
and then, um and we don't know how far behind The Walking Dead are, but we do know that the CR had to be absolutely had to be aware of the fact that a nuclear bomb went off!
Oh my god, right?
Okay.
Not the nuclear bomb again, no. Just ignore
So
it. Ignore it over there.
everyone's ignoring the nuclear bomb that went off. I don't
I
know what to
know.
I'm sorry. That should cause a little bit of chatter at some point.
Oh, Caesar made a comment about the coupled up teens. We talked a little bit about that, I think, last week or week before when we first identified that it seemed like they're all being coupled up and stuff. Meh, meh.
Yeah.
I feel like they don't need to couple up anybody. This show isn't worth that. Who cares? There's not enough time to develop those relationships where we can actually like ship anybody or care about them. It's not enough time to develop it. It's kind of half-assed. I feel
Mhm.
like they could just be a group of teens trying to figure out stuff. They don't have to be paired up. They're kids.
Yeah. And I just wanna address what Karina's saying about fear is behind. I knew that fear we knew the fear is in the past, just not sure how far behind. But that does mean that the CR is completely aware of the fact that big swaths of the, southern states are completely, eradicated.
Well,
And
Lisa, this jumps back to what I said like 2 episodes ago. I'm like, this is the perfect setup for them to time jump. Time jump us out of this hot mess.
yeah,
At the end of the season, we're done with this shit. Time jump us to somewhere important where
yeah,
we can like be more in line with the other shows and we can just like not have to deal with this whole bomb thing for the next 2 or 3 seasons.
right. And again, because, The Walking Dead and World Beyond are both in the future from them.
Hmm.
Not a single person has said anything about a bomb going off. "Hey, did anybody see all those, you know, mushroom clouds? No? Oh, big." Anyway, and s still trying to wrap my brain around that. They really need to
I mean,
address some of
maybe
these
they're just
things.
focusing on today. They're not focusing on history. What happened years ago, 7 years
Yeah,
ago, 10 years ago? They're on today.
yeah.
Maybe that's what it is.
I guess. I don't but again, with all these plans that they're making and everything else,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Anyway, I'm not even gonna dig into it because bleh, and
Yeah. I get it. I understand.
so, but yeah, I mean, I like I said, overall though, I mean, I did actually enjoy this particular episode. I mean, we got a little further ahead. We saw all the containers for whatever it is that they're using, to depopulate. And they've got a sample now and to see what it is and what it does and why
Yep.
they're doing it.
Yep.
Um it doesn't make any sense to me. I almost kind of there's a part of me that almost wonders, did they do this to see if it would, inoculate people and it went horribly wrong, you know?
I think we're going to find out more next episode now that they have that vial
Yeah.
of whatever.
Because I mean the end goal, whether it's the military or otherwise, it really is to end the the walking, the zombie, threat.
Right.
Um and we all know that, you know, we learned years and years ago that it's not just transmitted by a bite. We all carry the virus, or they all carry the virus. It just doesn't activate until you do die. Um and so whatever it was, it's something that obviously mutated because at the beginning of it, it was by bite only, and then it eventually mutated to all of us having it. So, you know, it evolved. Um,
Mhm.
so I'm kind of wondering if maybe, because it seems that whatever it is probably the canisters that they're using, it would be an aerosol, and they wanted to see what it would do to the population to try,
Mm.
to perhaps get rid of the virus that's in the air, essentially.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I just it just because I'm trying to wrap my brain around what was the purpose of killing all of these people, you know?
Maybe Lila will tell us eventually.
Yeah.
Now that we know she about it. She don't care. She will do crazy stuff to people to try to,
Mhm.
and she's admitted it openly. Hey, I did awful things to my family.
Mhm. Trying to
Maybe,
save them.
yeah, maybe she will, feel some kind of sympathy or something and just kind of reveal what's really going on, or at least she'll give us a piece of it,
Yeah.
maybe. I
We
don't
don't
know.
have that many episodes left. I mean, and there's not gonna be another season. And I know they're using this as a springboard particularly for the Rick movies, but also for the other 2 shows. So, I don't know. I'm a little confused on
They have
all
a
of it.
lot of explaining to do in 4 episodes.
Yeah, they do. And the fact that they don't seem to have any connection to the Commonwealth, which just seems weird because I know that that's part of their territory,
Oh my god, yeah.
So, I
No.
don't know. I mean, I don't know. Let's hope they give us something that made this 2-year ride worth it.
Don't hold your breath. I'm
I'm
not
not.
holding my breath because
I'm not
I'm
holding my
not
breath.
sure.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
just
not confident.
because I mean, if they knew that it was only gonna be 2 seasons, the writing really should have been so much tighter than this. This has just
Oh,
been
yeah.
I don't know, draggy and weird and distorted and now that's like, "Oh, we're down to 4 episodes. We're gonna have to explain everything right now."
This whole writing team, like, those classic terms of pantser and plotter for writers? I
Mhm.
feel like this whole writing team, they're just pantsers. They're flying by the seat of their pants.
Mhm.
When in reality, because of the makeshift of, what this show was supposed to be, the framework of it, they should have been plotters, all of them.
Oh, yeah.
They should have been plotting step by step how we're gonna get A to Z. Like, they should at least have Z and then figure out how to get to Z and make it make sense.
Right. I mean, I think
And
they
I'm
did
not sure
have
they have
Z.
that.
They just didn't
Yeah.
know anything in between, "Okay, we're gonna start here, and this is where we're ending, and I don't know, we're just gonna make it up as we go. We'll figure it out." No!
Yeah, no.
No!
It
You
doesn't,
don't
like, you might be able to do that bullshit when you have a longer running show,
Yeah.
but not when you have 20 episodes, 2 seasons.
Yeah.
That's not a lot to figure things out.
Right. Well, and the fact that they had it planned from the very beginning. They told us in the very beginning, this will be only 2 seasons. This is this show is a they touted it as a way to fill in the missing gaps, and it's not. It's just making bigger gaps. You
Yeah.
know, it's making things muddier.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing is making any sense, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
It's
So,
sad, but I feel like that's what we're gonna be saying at the end of episode 10, like, WTF, man.
yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where we're gonna be at. I'll bet you a
If it goes
cookie.
any other way, I will be totally surprised.
Oh god, yeah. I'll be shocked, to be quite
Yeah.
truthful. And I mean, I don't know. They what they really should have done is for this show, they should have brought over, like, a small handful of writers from The Walking Dead and a small handful of writers over from, uh The Walking Dead.
Oh, fear. Mhm.
Fear the Walking Dead. And said, "Okay, between us, we know where our stories are going. Let's plot this out." You know? Um, and that's not what they did. I don't think that it's almost like there was no coordination. And I realize it's 3 different shows, but it's all in the same universe and they're all trying to get to this point, you know, this culmination of everything and they are not doing a good job of it.
No. They, probably bit off more than they could chew with this attempt,
Yeah.
honestly.
I mean, they should have taken some notes from the Marvel, writers. We
Mhm.
had a decade long, span of all these different superheroes that came together, but they managed to make their stories intertwine, in a way that made sense. And come on, guys, you could do the same. You don't, you do anything you want at this point because they're off canon. There's no more comic books. They can do anything they want, and they could have coordinated this better.
Yeah, Grimes Girl says it would be bonkers if Michonne showed up and then it can go out with a bang and tie into the Rick movies.
Well, that'd be awesome.
Um, I wouldn't hate it, but I'd love to know how she would tie in though. Like,
Well, she was out
how would
looking for
she?
Rick, so, she's following
Yeah,
the trail of dead bodies are leaving, I would imagine.
yeah. But I
You
mean,
know?
I actually saw a poll on Facebook, not Facebook, on YouTube from another one of the, Walking Dead universe YouTubers. And the
Uh-huh.
poll said, Do you think we'll see Rick? And one said, not at all. One answer was not at all. One said we might get like a reference at the end of this
We got a
season.
reference.
And one said we would get like uh what was the other answer? I feel like it was something about we would see him or something directly linked to him, like something
Mhm.
like that. But I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like Jada's mentioning him in season episode 6 is not a good enough reference. I would
Right.
want, to me, like Grimes Girl said, like if Michonne somehow showed up in this show, that would be an amazing tie.
Oh, yeah.
Or if um maybe somehow as they're finding these files or trying to take down the CRM, they find a file about him
Right.
or something that directly has a photo of him and some
Mhm.
stats about him or something to
Well,
like,
and you do have to wonder, Rick is apparently important because she said, "I gave them something important. I gave them something they wanted. It gave
yeah,
me my in."
yeah,
So, Rick is important to them, but I'm not sure why. I mean, yeah, he was the leader of a group, got that. He is a survivor, got that, but they have lots of those, you know?
and man, do you remember back when that whole thing happened with Rick being taken off by the helicopter?
Mhm.
And we were like speculating on what could happen. And I swear, I still feel this way. If they try to say he has amnesia and can't remember shit, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be super mad.
Yeah. I think it's more along the lines of, like, Hope and Iris's dad. I wanted to get in touch with you, but I didn't wanna put you guys in danger.
Yeah,
I think Rick is I think he's fully aware that if he tries to leave and go back to his people, that, something bad would happen because let's face it, there's absolutely no way that the Alexandrians could do anything to stop the CR or
yeah,
CRM. I mean, they couldn't. They could honestly, they can't stop they couldn't stop the Commonwealth. I
right.
mean, they can they barely stopped Negan, and Negan was on the same, you know, uh, civilization level as them.
Right.
And the CRM and the Commonwealth are both several steps above. They have large communities and vast resources. And Rick's people are, they're trying not to die of starvation. Um, so, it would really be, ants against the anteaters. The ants don't have much of a chance. So, I don't think Rick has amnesia. I think if anything, he is fully aware and he knows the dangers of him going back,
I hope
you
that's what
know?
it is because I don't know. I guess I just don't want to give them too much credit. I feel like they will take the easy way out if they can. And
Yeah,
it's easy to write if he just doesn't have to be concerned with that stuff.
exactly.
So,
You know? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this show is so bonkers all over the place. It's they'll probably supply us with some kind of the end moment, but it may or may not make any sense at all.
watch this shit be a 30-second post credit, thing. And we're going to be all scratching our heads like, well, what could that mean? Like,
Mhm. It means we're all stupid that we wasted 2 years watching
oh
this show.
my
That's what it
God.
means.
It's gonna be a big gotcha. Ha ha ha. Joke's on you.
I'm just saying.
I don't know. I mean, I want to stay hopeful, but I'm not feeling too
Hopeful.
confident.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm not really thinking we're gonna get what we want
I gotta tell you
and
though,
be
I'm really
satisfied.
excited. There's only 4 more episodes. Good, bad, or indifferent. At
Girl,
least it's gonna
me
be
too,
over.
Lisa. I'm like, it's almost over. Oh my God, we'll be done with this in a few short weeks. We'll be done with World Beyond and we can focus on other things.
Yes, thank God. So,
Yeah.
well, we should probably wrap it up here. We've been on for a while and,
Yeah, we went
you
over
know.
our usual time, but it
Yeah,
was a good
well,
conversation.
Yeah, this was a better episode, but again, it still comes down to why are we wasting our time?
I
I mean,
know,
that's
right?
really the ultimate thing. We all we're all sitting here, all of us, Why are we doing this? Oh yeah,
I know.
because we're hoping for that magical payoff with Rick.
Oh God. Like it's gonna appear. Ta-da! It's not.
It's
Sorry, y'all.
yeah.
I know it's not, but
Yeah.
anywho, it's been fun, you guys. Really appreciate you guys who are on the live chat right now. Thanks so much for joining us. We appreciate you being here. It's
Yes, we
always a good
do.
time. Yes, it
I
is.
do enjoy reading your comments. I'm not used to it. Okay, because prior to this, Tamara could always read the comments, but I could not. So, I'm sitting here, I'll start reading what you guys are all writing, and then I'll kind of fade out for a second. Oh yeah, back to the conversation. You know,
Like, Lisa, the people that are listening later cannot read the comments. Even the people on YouTube, I don't think the YouTube people can see the
I
comments after the live is over. It's a different set of
yeah.
comments.
Yeah, I'm
So,
sorry guys. I'm trying. I'm doing I'm learning new skills here, okay?
yeah, she'll get it down. She'll get it down.
I'm learning new
So
skills.
yes, and thanks to Karina, especially. Looks like she brought her people over from Twitter. Yes, her Twitter groups or someplace. Yeah.
Yay.
So we appreciate you for doing that as well, Karina. So I guess we're gonna sign off. We're done. What do you think, Lisa?
I believe so.
Okay. Well, you guys, it's been a blast. Thanks again. We will catch you next week. And as always, if you want to listen to older episodes, it's available on the website on your podcatcher of choice. Check it out. And we'll be here next week. See you guys then. Take care, guys.
Bye-bye.